Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome back to the Make Me a Better Woman podcast. I'm so glad that you guys could join me today because I want to talk about something that is near and dear to me. If I had to describe myself with one word, I would say that I am an encourager. I know there's people out here that, describe themselves as life coaches and things like that. But I like to describe myself as an encourager. I love to encourage others, but sometimes the person that encourages others um, needs the most encouraging. You know, it's been said that I often, wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm so empathetic and I just get really involved with trying to help people. I love to help people. I love to be of service. I love to give back, which is one of the reasons I founded the Make Me a Better Woman mentor program back in 2009. The Lord just put a calling on me, and I really had a desire to help others. And so I started mentoring girls, and I would incorporate teenagers, the older young ladies, to be a part of it as an assistant to me. But what they didn't realize is that, they were benefiting from getting mentored as well. And then I had wonderful groups of ladies and other moms, soldiers, and airmen that were contributing and helping. With the success of the program, people in the community. And so I was blessed to hold many, many events where I was able to encourage the community. And so today, I really want to ask you guys, you know, how do you encourage yourself? What is a source of encouragement? How do you get inspired? And so, like I said again, you know, I love to encourage others, but I'm often the one that doesn't have anybody that encourages me. Now, don't get me wrong, families can be a huge source of encouragement, but sometimes you need more than that. And so, my biggest encouragement comes from my love of gospel music. I actually taught liturgical dance, which is praise dance, to God, hundreds of young ladies have come through my program. And I've been fortunate and blessed enough to instill that love of dance and of gospel music into so many people, because not just the young ladies, but their parents, their siblings, and family, and members of the community um, that would come and witness or support our events. And so, my biggest source of encouragement is definitely gospel music. I mean, God Favors Me is a song that just lifts me up. Um, Better Days, Deliver Me, He Knows My Name. I'm blessed. I got that. Um, Something Has to Break, and Won't He Do It? All of those songs. His Eye is on the Sparrow by Whitney Houston. Love Theory by Kirk Franklin, and Put a Praise on It. Tasha Cobb's Encourage Yourself, and Be Encouraged. Like, all of those songs have just really gotten me through some tough times, some tough days. Um, I absolutely um, love listening to gospel music. And Leandria and Tasha Cobbs and Kiki Sheard and Jessica Reedy. Those are some of my absolute favorite singers. Of course, of course, I love Kirk Franklin, and his multitude of songs have gotten me through. And the latest song that I have discovered, Listen by Marvin Sapp, just really, really spoke to me because it was just described what I was going through. And I'm so blessed to personally know some amazing uh, gospel singers and people that I've met and was fortunate enough to perform for me at a gospel concert that I put together. And my brother and sister in Christ, the Bridgewaters, have performed for me and just lifted the crowd. And I love listening to their Pandora channel amongst these others. But that is the number one way that I get my encouragement. I mean, I definitely have praise and worship on my own, especially when I was still going to a toxic work environment, honey. I mean, I would have to get some praise and worship on and some strength, just put on the full armor of God, to, honey, to go in that place. So, anyway, that is the number one way that I encourage myself is through that. And then, social media can be a blessing and a curse. It's what you take out from it. But I absolutely love some of the things that come across um, my social media, and that has encouraged me, through the years. And I mean, on a daily basis, I use these resources to just encourage myself. Um, Here's one that I saw. It says, "What if? What if all this time, all this struggle has been leading you to a beautiful chapter in your life? What if everything does work out, even if it doesn't seem like it right now? What if who I become is who I needed all along? What if all of this hard work leads to amazing things? What if you replace negativity with optimism? Would your thoughts and behavior change too? I believe so." you know things things like that just really encourage me. Oh, I love this one. This is unknown who wrote this, but it says, "A beautiful woman uses her lips for truth, her voice for kindness, her ears for compassion, her hands for charity, and her heart for love. For those who do not like her, she uses prayer." Prayer is probably the other biggest source of encouragement that I get in my life, other than gospel music. I mean, prayer definitely works, gospel music, you know, and then, I've got some pretty amazing kids. They all right sometimes, but they definitely encourage me and lift me up with their words. And who, I don't know if y'all heard my voice crack a little bit, but I get emotional. I'm looking at, my baby girl made me last year for my birthday. She made me this blingy sign with gold and glitter and pearls, and it's just really cute. I wish you guys could see it, but it says, "Dear Mom, like a nurse, you take care of what hurts. Like a map, you guide my way. Like a superhero, you can save the day. Like a library, you share your knowledge. Like a tissue, you dry my tears. Like no one else, you love me. Like home, you know where my heart is." I mean, man, you guys, that was just so, so special to me. Like your child's words, I mean, that just, that hit home. And then I woke up for my birthday and I went in my bathroom, and my daughter had covered my entire mirror with all of these little sticky notes. And I kept them up for a long time because they were just so cute and special. And she put stuff on, like selfless and um, our world and strong. And she's funny too because she said my favorite little person, although I'm a little bit taller than her still right now. Um, we love you. I love you. A queen, period. Like loving just all of these messages. And I mean, it's okay that I couldn't see out of my mirror because I just left them up because they just encouraged me and inspired me every day. Um, even through the tough days, I would go in my bathroom and look at my mirror because, that's where my inspiration was. Um, and so, what are you doing to encourage yourself? Because I mean, life gets heavy. Life gets hard. We're constantly, I'll call it sucker punch. We're constantly sucker punch with unexpected things that we don't see happening. I mean, before the pandemic, I don't know about you, but I used to make a point of trying to take a little trip, a staycation, a getaway. The pandemic has definitely put a put a damper on that, and not being able to see family and friends, and maybe the people who used to encourage you. Maybe you weren't able to see them and hang with them, and it took a toll um, on you. And so here's another one. It says that it's Nicole Lyons posted this. And it says, she will rise with a spine of steel and a roar like thunder. She will rise. Um, so you've got to, I've got so many of these, and I said that one thing I was going to do is print these out and on either canvas or frame them and put these up in my office to just look and remind myself. Here's another one. It says, "Wake up, beauty. It's time to beast," and that one is by Unknown. But these are some of my favorite things that just kind of motivate me. Um, Here's another one. It says, "Whoever is trying to bring you down is already below you." Because I mean, life gets hard, and unfortunately, there's haters out there. There's people that don't wish you any earthly good. They don't want to see you do any good, and so you got to be careful who's in your boat. I mean, you might think that they're in the boat rowing with you, and y'all going to the same place, and they on the other side drilling holes. Hoping, waiting, watching for you to sink, knowing that you probably can't swim. So put on your life jacket. Everybody you encounter, like, don't take any chances. And if you are like me, a giver, constantly giving of yourself, your time, your resources, your prayers, your support, your everything, you have to know your limits because takers don't have any. Um, so that's another quote that I saw, and it says, "If you are a giver, please know your limits because the takers don't have any. Because, honey, they will deplete all of your resources, drain you dry, and on to the next person. And you sitting there looking and wondering, like, what had happened? You know, you have got to know. You've got to. You just have to. So, I mean, gospel music, you know, my family, um, these quotes, that is what I use for inspiration and for encouragement. Um, Here's another one that I saw on a site called Lessons Taught by Life. It says, "Sometimes the strongest women are the ones who love beyond all faults. They cry behind closed doors and fight battles that nobody knows about." Honey, I don't know how they was looking into my life, but they were describing me because definitely, definitely. And I'm sure so many other women are forced to be strong. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like women of color, I feel like we are the least protected. And, so many people say, "Oh, she's hard," or "she's mean," or "she's an angry black woman," or this and that. When we've been forced to be strong, we've been forced to be hard, we've been forced to protect ourselves and to put up this, exterior. But we are the ones that are holding it all together. We are the strongest. When I first started my girls mentor program, Make Me a Better Woman, whenever we would have our first recital or event, I would often make this comment that the dads would kind of look at me sideways, and I would say, you know, uh, women are the strongest creatures. And they would, look kind of funny because everybody knows that men have more physical brute strength than women. But honey, we bring life, we give life, we carry life, we are the salt of the earth. And so what I say to them that makes them agree with me, I say, now women have to be the strongest. It was Eve that convinced Adam to bite from that apple and go against God. Now, who's the strongest? And they would look at me sideways when I would say that. But most definitely, women are strong creatures and we endure a lot. And I mean, we either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. It's another quote, that I saw. I mean, it's by unknown, but I just want to say, dear women, dear black women, dear women of color, you deserve love that doesn't require suffering first. If your significant other, if your uh, parent, your child, whoever is not loving you and encouraging you the way that you love and encourage and support them, yeah, you might be in a toxic relationship because, again, women hold so many things together. We're so strong. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I have gone in the bathroom and closed the door and cried and fought battles that nobody has known about and dried my face and come out and put on a smile and carried on like nothing. And I know I'm not the only one um, that does that or that has gone through that. I mean, you know, I have these pictures hanging up in my studio, and here where I am. And I mean, they are the other source of my inspiration. I look at these because so many women suffer in silence. We feel like we can't go to our significant other or we can't go to our friends or whoever for, encouragement or support. And we often feel alone. Well, I have a painting in my a nice picture hanging up and it says, she needed a hero, so she became one. Yes, honey, I'm telling you, we have to be our own heroes. And one of the ways of being your own hero is self love. And probably my favorite sign in my room here, it says, self love is the greatest medicine because you can't practice self care without self love. I mean, I don't care how much you love your children, your spouse, your family, your job, your whatever you're doing. I don't care how much you love it. You have got to love yourself more. You have got to love yourself the way that God loves you. And if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. Let me say that again, because this is another quote that just hit home for me. If you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. Do you hear what I'm saying, ladies? Like if you don't make time to meditate or to pray or to read a book or to go get a massage or a pedicure or whatever or get your eyebrows on, whatever it is, get your hair done, whatever time alone. And I know it's hard because remember, I'm a military spouse and a mother of three. And there are times that we've been stationed in places where I didn't know another soul and I didn't have anybody to watch my kids. So it was hard to go get my hair done. And I can remember we were getting, family was coming in. We're getting ready for one of my cousins' graduations. And it was in another state, but some of the family was coming to where I was, and we were all going to travel together so they could help me with the kids because my baby was still young. And I remember I took the baby and my youngest daughter with me to try to get my hair done, and the baby was crying. I mean, babies cry; it's what they do. And I remember the hairdresser reached out to me after my appointment and told me that I could not come back with my children. I couldn't bring my children anymore. And I understand she had a business to run. I get it. But it was devastating to me as a woman because she was a woman and a mother too. And of course, I wouldn't have brought my kids with me if I had anybody else to watch them. But my husband was gone. Um, you know, um, family hadn't gotten there yet, and when they did, we were going to have to hurry and get on the road. And so many of us women are forced to, and even for financial reasons, forced to not be able to get those pamper treatments, like going to the nail salon or getting a pedicure or getting our hair done. But if you don't do all of these little things to nurture your self care, to love on yourself, it will begin to manifest itself, in physical ailments. It will, and you will be forced to make time for your illness. And I mean, that definitely happened to me as well. I was having some issues and knew I wasn't feeling good, but I had a job and a family to take care of. And ultimately, I mean, I just kept putting off, and it finally came down so hard that I ended up having to have surgery within a matter of days because I had a grapefruit sized tumor um, and some other issues that came about. So, if you don't go and see about yourself and take care of yourself, whether it's going to your annual mammograms and annual women's checks, if you don't take the time to do these things for yourself, like I said, whether it's self care or, that's part of self care, you will be forced to take time for illness. This is another quote that I saw on Lessons Taught by Life. Those who died yesterday had plans for this morning, and those who died this morning had plans for tonight. Don't take life for granted. In the blink of an eye, everything can change. So forgive often and love with the full heart. You never know when you may not have that chance again. That definitely um, made an impact on me. And so many of us just don't take the time to encourage ourselves to practice self-care. Um, so again, what do you use to encourage yourself? I mean, I don't want to know how you encourage other people. I want to know what you do to encourage yourself. Um, I mean, because you're worth it. You're worth more than what you're going through. So be enough for yourself first. I mean, put yourself first. You know how you've ever been on an airplane, if you've ever been on an airplane and the flight attendant will say, she's given the instructions before takeoff about the oxygen mask and how to drop down. But if you have, a child, a small child, or someone who's incapable of getting the oxygen mask, for you to put it on yourself first and then take care of that person. It's the same thing in life, ladies. If we don't take care of ourselves first, how can we take care of others? We have got to encourage ourselves. And this is a new quote that I just saw last night. And I mean, man, this hit home. It says, I bent until I damn near broke. But that's the thing about resilience. It shows up just as your soul begins to cry and catapults your strength into overdrive. And let's see, this is by Alpha Mmabw Facets. I mean, I love that quote because I know I'm not the only one that has been so near the breaking point. I mean, that you thought that you were going to break. You thought you were going to break. But, we dig down and find that strength, you know. Um, and then it brought me to this quote. It says, strange, isn't it? You know yourself better than anyone else, yet you crumble at the words of someone who hasn't even lived a second of your life. Focus on your own voice. It's the only one that matters. Man, that one just spoke to me loud and clear. It is so true. Like, whether we're on a job in any toxic environment or relationship, and you're not receiving that encouragement or that support, and somebody speaks negatively to you or about you, it can just break us down. It can just make us crumble. But why in the world are we allowing someone to make us crumble, you know by their words, when they have not even gone through a second of what you've gone through, have not even walked through your shoes. And I can tell you, as a black woman, period, as a military spouse, period, it is tough. You know, I I often I'm fluent in Spanish, and so I often, work in a capacity where I have to translate. And boy, I'm gonna tell you, getting hit by all ends. I mean, I guess I don't look like somebody's idea of somebody that should be speaking, Spanish. So I often get other Hispanic people asking me, "What am I? How do I know Spanish?" And that's one of the most insulting things, ever. And I'm like, "Well, how do you know Spanish?" You know, but I then you've got the other people that. So I mean, it's so many toxic environments that I'm forced to be in and deal in, and it gets heavy. And although I'm the one that is, always encouraging other people and helping them, I often fall short of having that same encouragement in return. And I just want to say, because I read this quote and it definitely helped me, and I want to express the same thing to you out there in podcast land. I don't think people realize how much strength it takes to pull oneself out of a mentally dark place. So if you've done that today or any day, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me because, I mean, I have been down the deep, dark rabbit hole in such a dark place, just crying and feeling worthless, feeling like nothing. And, all the while, I would pick myself up, do everything that needed to be done at home, go to work, take care of everybody at work. And it just got to be so heavy because no one was taking care of me. And I was bending and bending until I felt like I was going to break. And that's when I knew that I had to get help. I had to get the help. And I mean, things I had to ask myself: am I the problem? Is something wrong with me? Will I ever be enough? I mean, just because I'm encouraging these other people and I'm not getting it back, that definitely does not mean that something is wrong with me at all. I mean, families weren't designed to hurt one another, but to love and support one another. But when you don't get that support, it can definitely break you down. And so I want to encourage somebody today. And what I want to say to you, in the words of the late great, you know, one of my absolute all-time favorites, Prince, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. We are all in this rat race together. And I hope that the Make Me a Better Woman podcast can continue to encourage you, and you guys can encourage me to continue what I'm doing. And I really just want to be a source of encouragement. I want you to leave here better than when you came. I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that everybody struggles in some form or fashion. I don't care if you're struggling with finances or health or what it is on your job and your homes and relationships. Every person has some struggle. I mean, think about people like, the late Kate Spade, who didn't have a financial care in the world, but was so depressed and unhappy and miserable that she thought her only way out was to take her own life. People like Robin Givens, who made, or I'm sorry, not Robin Givens, I apologize. I don't mean Robin Givens, Robin Williams, who made so many people laugh and brought so many people joy, but who was so incredibly unhappy that unfortunately he took his own life as well. So I want to tell you to please be encouraged. Be encouraged. Um, this is just a chapter that you're going through. Those who don't encourage you or who may be trying to break you, they're expecting you to be in fight mode. They're expecting you to crumble. But I want you to conquer them with your peace. I want you to not give in, to not give up. I want you to continue to not fight them, but fight for yourself. And again, I hope some of the things that I use can encourage you, because I mean I definitely have praise and worship every day, and I want you to I've got a couple of videos of coping with COVID and just different things. And I know when you're really going through a dark phase of your life, it's hard to even have the desire to get out of bed or to do any of these things. But, definitely I have changed my eating habits and my diet and just trying to eat clean. It has definitely helped me feel better and feel more encouraged and motivated. Um, it's the weather is warming up. Try to get outside more. Try to get some type of physical activity and just try to escape from some of the issues. But do whatever you can. Don't always look to others to encourage you, because honey, you may be waiting if you're waiting for others to treat you how you treat them. So you use these tools to encourage yourself. I mean, I definitely believe in prayer or meditation or just having that peace. And I'm telling you, if I don't do nothing else every day, I'm going to soak in the tub of Epsom salt and bubbles and listen to my praise and worship. It is how I face the day. And I definitely drink lots of water. Um, it just helps, flush all of the toxins out. And so we'll get into some more self help tips on another podcast. But I just want to know, how do you encourage yourself? What do you use to keep going, to inspire yourself, to motivate yourself? And I want to thank you again for listening to the Make Me a Better Woman podcast. And I hope that you have the best day that you can have.